Alright, here we go. This is a quick little tutorial for Lynch Lab on how to use Zotero for finding references and keeping track of citations. So the first thing, you're going to have to do some setup if you haven't done it already. I'm not going to go through this in detail because I will hope that you've already done it, but you will need to have Zotero installed on your computer. And you should also install this Chrome connector, which will allow you to grab references right from the internet. Alright, so I'll assume you have that set up. The other thing, we'll look at that in a minute, the other thing that you're going to want to make sure you have is Zotero, this Zotero tab in any Windows Word document that you open up. So you'll need this right here. You might have to do a little troubleshooting, and I can help with that if necessary, but you can't get started too much until you have that. And then lastly, once you've installed this Chrome connector, you'll see that this shows up in your extensions right here. So those are all the things you want to have. You want to have Zotero on your computer. When you open it, it looks like this, also in Chrome and also in Word, and then you can follow along in this process we're going to use right here. We might be starting a Lynch Lab library. I started a group. You may have been invited to it. Currently there are no references in this group. Right now you can see my library is here, and I can show you a little bit about how it's set up and kind of a workflow for grabbing references and storing them in here and putting the citations into a paper. So let's see, I guess we'll start with, this isn't just an example, this is a paper that Shannon, well, a proposal that Shannon already put together, and she has in here listed links to the references that she wants to put in here. So what we can do, if you have something along these lines where you already know what the reference is going to be, we can right click on that hyperlink and go to open hyperlink. Let me open it right here. And there are a couple ways that you can pull this reference into Zotero. So if you have that extension, the plugin or extension in your Chrome, you can go to your extensions, and of course it didn't open. It opened in the Microsoft instead of in Chrome. So I need to fix my default setting and put that in Chrome instead. So if I open a Chrome tab and put that hyperlink in right there, then I should be able to go to my extensions, and there will be this Zotero connector right here, and I can just do that, and it automatically goes to my library. But now I want to put it in the Lynch Lab library. So if I just click on this down button right here, I can put it in the Lynch Lab library, so you can pick between your personal library or the group library that we're going to share together. If this is a task that you've been assigned at Fox Chase, then I would suggest you put it in the Lynch Lab library. If you want it for your own personal use as well, go ahead and put it in your library too. But I'll press done. And then when I open up Zotero, I'll see it right here. So a lot of times it will automatically pull over this. If you see this icon, it means that it has attached the PDF for you, which is nice. So I can open this up and look at it right here. You can highlight right directly in this, and once you highlight something, you can click on it and you can add a note directly to the highlight, which is nice. And the other thing you can do is add a note to this particular resource right here. So I could add a child note, and that goes under this paper. So now if I expand the little menu under this paper, I have the full text, a link to the PubMed entry, and here I have this note, and I can put it in here and say, I can give a summary of this article. So this is a great way if you're doing a literature review to kind of keep track of like the key takeaways from each of the papers that you're dumping into your library, and it will help other people as we build this group library to be able to quickly find which paper has the thing that's important about it. So what we might want to do for general practice is like, if Shannon used this as a reference for this sentence, or maybe summarize that sentence in a child note in Zotero. So then next time we're writing a paper and we need to make that same statement, we can cite the same paper for it and not have to do a separate lit search for that. The other nice thing about Zotero that I like is that we can add tags. So it already came in automatically with the tags that the author established for this paper ahead of time, or the publication. You can also add your own tags. So for another just kind of working process for our lab, I would suggest that we create a tag for every paper that we're adding references to. So I actually already did this one that I'm using right here. So this is an evaluation of interest in participating in research center on genes. Okay, we're clearly not making a tag that's that long, but I'm going to just pull the first few words of it. And again, I did this up here, so it's in my library. I haven't moved it over to the group library yet, but I will. So here I have a whole bunch of tags. Some of them are tags that came in with the articles, and some of them are ones that I made. So here's the one that I made for that proposal that we're putting references in now. So I can click that, and all the articles that are used in that will come up here. So you can create, we'll go back to the, and then click it again and it goes away. I also did a lit search on the Yoast index. So that is a tag that I created, and if I click that, then I have all my references that I would want to use if I'm talking about the Yoast index. Another one is like socioeconomic. That comes up a lot. So I have socioeconomic factors, socioeconomic status. I might want to clean those up and have it all be one tag, so that, you know, that brings up everything that's related to that. Going back to our group library though, the way that we create a tag is just up here. It says fields and tags, and you can do you can just type right into it, I think. So new tag, maybe. Oh no, that's sorry, that's searching. That's not what we want to do. We're gonna click on this, and let's see, here it is. So if I press this lines, whatever that icon is called, it pops over this menu on the right hand side. So it has general information. This is where, if your citation is coming out wonky for any reason, or it just pulls in incomplete, this is where it's going to pull the citation from. So you know, maybe when it pulls in, it only pulls in one author, and you need to put in manually the other authors. It's pretty good, but sometimes there's something in here that's incomplete, or that will need to be revised. This is where you would revise it, and this is where we can add tags. So these yellow icon tags are the ones that it automatically pulls in, and I can pull in my own here, and I'll just say NCCN. And then that one shows up too. And then when we pull in the next article, that will be an option for me to choose from. So I can try and choose the same one rather than writing it in slightly differently next time. Alright, so that's one way to get an article into Zotero. I'm going to show you the other. So if we go back to this paper here. Oh, now that that's in there, let's go ahead. This is the one that I pulled, right? So now that that's in here, we can go to add or edit citation. And that, let's see, what do we want to use? Well, we'll just go with APA for now. Okay, so it puts in this like placeholder citation. Why did it do that? We have to pick one. Oh, because my menu's on the other screen that you can't see. Come back over. Here it is. Alright, so there's, I can just start typing it in. NCCN, and it's showing me that I have it in my library and also in the Lynch Lab library. So we'll pick that, and then I just press enter, and it pops right in there. I'll show you another one that has a couple of, like if we wanted to do 2 citations, like, oh, I guess this is 2 different things here. If you wanted to do 2, we can delete this. And I'll just make something up for the sake of showing you. We're going to add a cite. Okay. Alright. If you want to do 2, you can just either do a, like, separate it and then say, barriers. I'm just searching for another article that's close by. Clearly that's not the one that would go there. I can have both of those in there and press enter. Your other option is to press this classic view, and in that view you will go to my library because there's more. You can actually see all of the names here, and you can even get to your notes. So say you know you have the article in there somewhere, but you can't remember, you know, which one you want or what it's called or whatever, then in the classic view you can scroll through all of your resources that you have in here and even look at your notes. So here's one that I have about Yoast and SES. So that helps me kind of pick the right one for that context. Alright, last thing that I'm going to show you is how to search. We're going to search for one more resource here. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy the hyperlink. You can just press open if it goes to Chrome right away, but my default setting is not Chrome. So we're going to do that. Paste the URL in here. And then you can use the DOI to search for it right in the Zotero. So like this is especially helpful if you're pulling from a reference from another paper that doesn't have a hyperlink. Instead of going into PubMed and having to search the article name and the author and all of that stuff, you can just copy this DOI, which is usually listed in the reference, and I'm going to press Control C here to copy it. Then I go up to, not here, I go to Zotero, and I'm going to press this magic wand here, and this is where you can copy the DOIs or the ISBN if it's a book, any of these codes to resources. And when I press enter, so I just pressed Control V there to paste it in, and when I press enter, it automatically searches it and finds it for me, and it even has the PDF here. If the PDF didn't automatically pull over, and sometimes it doesn't, you can right click and press, there'll be an option, if there's no PDF here, there'll be an option for you to search for available PDFs, and a lot of times it'll find it. And if that's not available, if it still can't find it, but you have a PDF from somewhere, then you can do the same thing, right click, and then add it as an attachment. And then, like, if you have it in your downloads, you would go to attach stored copy of the file and then navigate to your downloads and attach that paper. So I think for best practices, what we want to make sure we do as we build out this Lynch Lab library is, pull in any articles that you have been asked to find as a reference for any paper that you're working on, or if you've been asked to do a lit search, then you can dump all these in here. Make sure the PDF is attached if at all possible. Go in here and add tags related to whatever your search is. So if you're searching for, rural, urban stuff, then you would go in here and add a tag related to that. If there's already a tag, like somebody else put a tag in here about that, then use the tag that's there so that we don't have a whole bunch of tags that are just slightly different from each other. And then ideally, we would also go in and add a little note. Again, we do this by highlighting that article, going up here to note and put add child note, and that goes right under that article. And then you can add a little summary of like what this article is good for, in terms of how we might use it or who might be interested in it. The tags can be used for just keywords, and the summary can be used to kind of highlight strengths or weaknesses of the article, ways that it's like what we're doing or not like what we're doing, things that will help us flag it for use in the future. And if you have to read an article anyway, then it would be really helpful to everybody who comes along after you to just go ahead and highlight things that you think are useful based on whatever it is you're reading it for. Add a highlight, add a note, so that we can start building this in a way that will cut down on the heavy lifting of people in the future. We don't all have to do the same thing over and over again. We can build this up and make it super efficient. And then again, you can also copy things between libraries. So say, I have all these things in my library already. I haven't actually done this, but I'm pretty sure I can just click on it and pull it over to the Lynch Lab library and drop it. And then when I go to the Lynch Lab library, there it is. Oh wait, no, this is the one. And it has my note here. So here's my example of what I found interesting in this article when I read it. And it should have my tags on it too. Yeah, it does. Yoast Index, that was my tag. So there you go. So this is a great way for us to build something up.